Let me ask you something. Have you ever been talking to someone on a dating app and it just felt perfect? Like almost too perfect? Well, there might be a very good reason for that, and it's probably not what you think. Okay, let's really get into this.
So, picture it. You're on your phone, doing the endless swipe, just hoping to find a spark, a real connection in all that digital noise. And then, bam, you match. The pictures are good, the bio is clever, so you shoot your shot, you send a message, and a reply comes back. And right here, this is where the story takes a turn. The replies are fast, and they're not just good, they're flawless. They always have the perfect joke, they ask the most thoughtful questions. It's like they just get you. The whole conversation just flows like magic. I mean, there are no weird pauses, no typos, not a single awkward moment. It's like you're talking to someone who was literally engineered in a lab to be your soulmate. And that's when that little voice in the back of your head pipes up and asks, wait a minute, is this even real? What if all of that wit, all of that charm, that perfect understanding, what if it wasn't coming from the person in the picture? What if it was coming from an algorithm? See, this isn't catfishing like we know it. This is something new. Welcome to the world of chatfishing. So let's break this down. To really understand what's going on here, we've got to explore this kind of new, kind of weird frontier in modern dating. First things first, we need to know what we're talking about. So here's the big difference. We all know catfishing, right? That's when someone uses a totally fake identity. Fake name, fake pictures, the whole deal. Chatfishing is way more subtle. The person you're talking to, they're real. But the words you're falling for, that connection you feel, that's being generated by AI. It could be someone using an app to craft the perfect reply, or it could even be an entire profile run by a bot. And what this creates is a feeling that experts are starting to call artificial intimacy. It's that warm, fuzzy feeling of a genuine emotional bond, but it's built on a foundation of computer code, not a real human back and forth. You feel seen, you feel heard, you feel understood, because an algorithm was specifically designed to make you feel that way. So the big question is, why does this work so well on us? Why are our brains so vulnerable to this kind of thing? Well, it's really a 1-2 punch of how these AIs are designed and how our own brains are hardwired for connection. Think about it. These AIs have learned from like the entire internet. They've analyzed billions of human conversations. So they know exactly how to mirror your emotional tone, how to validate what you're saying, and how to serve up the perfect empathetic response every single time. It basically just cuts out all the messy, awkward, wonderfully human parts of getting to know someone. And here is the absolutely wild part. Our brains, they don't really check the ID at the door. They're just looking for a pattern of responsiveness. And when they find it, when we feel understood, our brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. Yep, the exact same chemicals that make us bond with other people. We are biologically programmed to connect with anything that feels empathetic, even if it's digital. Okay, I know this can all sound a little bit unnerving, but knowledge is power, right? The goal isn't to be paranoid, it's to be smart. So now that we get the why, let's talk about the how. How can you actually spot this in the wild? There are 3 big red flags to look out for. All right, first up, the communication is just too perfect. We're talking flawless grammar, beautifully crafted sentences, 0 typos, ever. Real people are messy, AI isn't. The second red flag, all this emotional depth with 0 actual presence. They'll write you novels about their deepest feelings, but they'll have every excuse in the book to dodge a simple phone call. And finally, watch out for super fast mirroring. You mention you're into some obscure hobby, and suddenly they're an expert. That's not chemistry, that's an algorithm building rapport. And I just want to pause here for a second and be clear. Technology isn't the villain in this story. But when our search for connection becomes more about performance, we can lose sight of what's real. The dating world is changing fast, and if you want to stay ahead of the curve and really understand it, well, that's what we do here. So if you're finding this useful, make sure you subscribe, because in this new world, clarity is your superpower. All right, let's get practical. This isn't about being suspicious of every match you get. It's about being prepared and being savvy. So how do you take a conversation that starts on text and build it into a place of real trust? Here's your 4-step toolkit. First, try to move the conversation off text. Suggest a voice note, a quick video call. An unfiltered human voice reveals a ton. Second, ask spontaneous, kind of weird questions, things an AI might struggle with. Throw it a curveball. Third, look for inconsistencies. Does the person on the phone sound anything like the polished Shakespeare from their texts? And finally, and this is the big one, pay attention to effort. Real connection is a little clunky. It takes work. Authenticity has friction. Automation is smooth. All of this really pushes us to ask a much, much bigger question. It's a question that gets right to the heart of how technology is changing our lives. What's the trade-off we're making here? I want you to just think about this for a second. Real, true connection requires vulnerability. It's the price of admission. So when someone outsources that work, the work of being present, of being thoughtful, of being vulnerable, you're not actually connecting with them. You're connecting with a piece of software they're using to manage the interaction.
And that's really the question we're left with. In our endless search for an effortless connection, are we accidentally designing the effort, the messiness, the authenticity right out of the whole thing? Love in the digital age isn't dead, not at all. But it is changing. And AI can be a tool to help us connect, but it should never ever be the connection itself. Because a real bond will always require the one thing no algorithm can fake, just showing up, being present. So what do you think?